I'm going to tell you everything you need to know before buying the RSI Constellation Andromeda, and we're starting right now.
Welcome to Roberts Space Industries. Enjoy the ride. System check.
What's up, citizens? Welcome to A Star Citizen's Buyer's Guide. This is SubliminaL here, and today we'll be discussing the features, functions, and benefits of the RSI Constellation Andromeda. And we'll compare those features amongst competing ships so you can make an informed buying decision. In this review, I'll cover a brief overview, take a tour, compare stats, go over its default weapons and components, as well as my recommended upgrades, review pros and cons, and finish up with my thoughts on the Constellation Andromeda. The 2950 Invictus week is here, and unfortunately this review will release after the RSI Free Fly. But don't fret, you can still buy it, and I'm going to show you how to get it for $75 less than the asking price. During Invictus week, I will let the community decide what ship I'll review next. Head over to my Twitter and place your vote now. While you're there, give me a follow. If this is our first time meeting, welcome. My name is SubliminaL, and my passions are Star Citizen and content creation. Be sure to check out some of my other reviews in this series and consider subscribing. Remember to check the pinned comment below for corrections, afterthoughts, and my updated loadouts. With that out of the way, let's get to it. Let's find out what the Connie Andromeda is all about. The RSI Constellation Andromeda, a multi-person gunboat freighter, is the most popular ship in RSI's current production array. Constellations are beloved by smugglers and merchants alike because they are modular, high-powered, and just downright iconic looking. The Constellation ships are a series of multi-crew freighters by Roberts Space Industries. Each constellation has its own primary focus, ranging from exploration to transport. Roberts Space Industries is a multinational corporation that designs, manufactures, and sells spaceships, vehicles, ship components, and spacesuits. It is one of the oldest modern human space corporations that stretches all the way back to when mankind first stepped into the stars. Incorporated in 2038, RSI was responsible for the development of the quantum drive that ushered the colonization of the galaxy. The Constellation or Connie series includes the freighter gunship Andromeda, exploration Aquila, luxury touring Phoenix, and the cargo transport variant Taurus that is not yet flight ready. Click the info cards here to see some of my reviews of the Phoenix and Aquila. As of today, the Constellation Andromeda is for sale and upgrade on the pledge store for $225. It is available in the Constellation Andromeda game package for $275. It is also available as a loaner, and you want to pay attention here to the Genesis Starliner, Crucible, and most importantly, the Constellation Taurus owners. The latter is only $150 US. The Constellation Andromeda is available for sale in-game at Lorville's new deal for over 3.5 million Alpha UEC. It is available for rent at Area 18's Travelers Rentals and Lorville's Vantage Rentals. Now that you know a little bit more about the Constellation Andromeda, let's take a tour. If you'd like to skip this tour, the timestamp is on screen and in the description. The paint job you see here is the Invictus Blue and Gold, available for sale on the pledge store at the prices seen here. And here is what the Constellation Dark Green paint job looks like. This is where the first turret is located. It comes out when someone enters it. There's another one on top as well. Here we have a few types of thrusters that you may see throughout the ship: the maneuvering and vertical lift thrusters. This is the main elevator. Up top there, we have a massive gimbal size 4 laser repeater. Slightly to the left, there is a docking collar, and just below that are some massive retro thrusters. Under here is another size 4 laser repeater. This thing is massive. Imagine if we added a size 5 fixed. Maybe if they fixed the pips. These arms fold out to hold 7, yeah, you heard that right, 7 size 1 missiles each. There are 2 on each side. Underneath, we have the P-52 Merlin. Unfortunately, ship-to-ship docking isn't available in the game yet, so for now it's just for show. Here you can see its massive main thrusters on the top and the bottom. The starboard side is identical to the port side. Here is the cargo lift. Let's head in through the cargo lift. This is large enough to fit 96 SCU or an Ursa rover or smaller land vehicle. Let's head towards the aft and check out Section D. In here, we have various different components and access to the connected P-52. Let's head back to Section C. You have access to lower and raise the lift from here and near the other ladder across the cargo bay. The starboard side has some more components like shield generators, but these don't seem to match up with what the ship can actually equip. They aren't physicalized like the Phoenix. Here's where the missiles are stored. Again, the quantities don't seem to match the actual count. Here's that airlock that we saw from outside. Let's check out the crew quarters in Section B. On the starboard and port sides, we have 2 beds each. Fun fact, these actually double as escape pods for the crew. This seating area has a cool table, but I couldn't figure out how to raise it. Let me know in the comments what I'm doing wrong. Checking out this room further, we have 2 gun racks, 5 storage lockers, and some safety equipment. In here, we have a shower and what I'm pretty sure is supposed to be a toilet. Let's head to Section A, or the bridge. The port and starboard side have more components. Down below in the middle, we have a manned turret. It has a radar and 2 MFDs. Let's check out the co-pilot seat. It has just 1 MFD. Up top, we have another manned turret. It is identical to the bottom. And finally, let's check out the view from the pilot seat. The Andromeda does not have the new building blocks UI. However, it does have 6 freaking MFDs and a hollow radar. And the assistant to the co-pilot seat is identical to the co-pilot seat. Now that we've taken a tour, let's see how it compares to other ships you might be considering. For comparison, I've selected 10 ships, the other variants, some missile boats, and some other large multi-crew combat ships. The Google Sheet document with the data is linked in the description. The Connie Andromeda weighs in at almost 420,000 kilograms and takes 8th place. It fits in at 61 meters in length and ties in 6th place with the rest of the Connies. It totes 96 SCU of cargo and ties in 2nd place with the rest of the Connies again. Has a max crew size of 5, the Connies tie in 3rd place with the 600i and Freelancers. It carries 3,000 quantum fuel units, the Connies tie in 1st place with the 600i again. It cruises by with an SCM speed of 144 meters per second and ties in 7th place with the Phoenix. It strolls by gingerly with a max speed of just 911 meters per second and ties in 8th place with the Phoenix again. It steers in slowly with a max yaw pitch of 40 degrees per second and ties in 7th place. It boasts a total HP of almost 33,000 and ties in 2nd place. It blasts its way in with a default pilot DPS of 2640 and takes 1st place. It shoots its way through with a default turret DPS of 916 and takes 5th place. This is kinda low, but we're gonna fix that in a minute. It drops bombs like Hiroshima with a total missile payload of almost 160,000. Only 2 flyable ships have more payload than this. And the Constellation Andromeda is available for sale in-game for over 1.5 million Alpha UEC. This buyer's guide is brought to you by my Locations of Stanton collection over on Display. Any purchase made supports the channel, and for every purchase, Display will plant a tree in places that need it the most. Click the link in the description. Now let's talk about the stock weapons and my recommendations. On top and at the bottom, we have 4 massive gimbal size 5 hardpoints. The top turret comes with 2 size 2 hardpoints, and the bottom turret is the same. For missiles, each one of these arms holds 7 size 1 missiles, and each of these missile bays holds 6 size 2 missiles. Up top and down below, we have 2 gimbal size 4 CF447 Rhino laser repeaters. One Rhino is size 4, does 159 damage, times 250 RPM for a total of 660 DPS and a 4,000 meter range. Normally I would go for ballistics, but I have actually decided to keep these. The Connie has enough power to sustain all this firepower, And since this shouldn't be too hard to take down by NPCs, the infinite ammo will come in handy. Each turret on the Andromeda comes with two size 2 M4A laser autocannons. I'm going to swap them out for two size 2 CF227 Badger laser repeaters. One Badger is size 2, does 59 damage, times 300 RPM for a total of 294 DPS and a 1700 meter range. This will give you a little bit more DPS at the cost of some range. On each side, the Andromeda comes with two Constellation side racks with 7 size 1 Marksman 1s. I will swap them out for the Spark 1s. Sparks are size 1, cross section, do over 2900 damage, have a 1.31 second lock time, and an over 3100 meter lock range. On top, it has 4 Constellation top racks with 6 size 2 Strike Force 2s each. They are size 2, cross section, do almost 3800 damage, have a 2.4 second lock time, and a lock range of over 4800 meters. I prefer cross-section missiles, so I'm going to keep them. Now let's talk about the standard components and my recommendations. The standard power plant on the Constellation Andromeda is the size 2 grade 3 Daybreak, and it comes with 2 of them. I recommend swapping them out for the size 2 grade 1 JS400, with almost 10,700 max power generation per second each and a 10-second draw request time. This will almost double its max power draw and shorten the time it takes to reach that power draw down to 10 seconds. For coolers, it comes with 2 size 2 grade 3 Frost Star EX coolers. I recommend swapping them out for 2 cool cores. They are size 3, provide an 8 million max cooling per second rate each, and a 10-second power draw request time. This will double the max cooling rate and reduce the time it takes to reach that rate down to 10 seconds, getting more cooling to you quickly. If you have unlimited money, go for the snowpacks. I just don't think the money will be worth the negligible difference. My recommendation for the shields in 3.9 is to pair the best overall size 2 shield, the FR76, with either a Rampart for slower ships or another FR76 for more nimble ships. Since the Constellation Andromeda is slow as we're going to go with the Rampart. This way, the FR76 can start adding to the shield pool quickly, while the Rampart takes its time but adds to the overall shield pool. The idea is that a ship like the Constellation Andromeda needs to be able to stay in the fight longer because escaping to charge the shields is not a viable option. And lastly, the QT drive it comes with is a size 2 grade 3 Bolon, and it stinks like colon. I would swap it out for the Crossfield. It's size 2, grade 3, has a 236 megameter per second quantum speed, a 2.25 second spool up, and a 22 second cooldown time. With the Constellation Andromeda's quantum fuel capacity, it can make the trip from Port Alizar to Microtech and back and have some fuel left over. You could add the fastest size 2 quantum drive, the XL1, and still make that trip, but I'm not sure it's worth the money for the return. If you don't have a whopping 400,000 alpha UEC to spend on all this at once, I would buy them in the following order. This is quite a bit of money, so save the coolers for last and maybe buy 1 shield and 1 power plant and pick the other one up later. After you watch the rest of this review, check out the link to my Urkel.games loadout in the description. Here you can find the prices and locations on where to find these items in the verse. These are just my recommendations and aren't the best for every situation. If you have any questions, comments, or recommendations, leave them in the comments below. Because Star Citizen is constantly changing, my recommended loadouts can change anytime. So to stay up to date, head over to the SubliminaL channel Discord where I store my updated loadouts. I am building a community here for citizens who want to discuss ships, loadouts, components, weapons, and more. Click the link in the description. Alright, let's weigh some of its pros and cons. I would say some of its pros are its cargo capacity of 96 SCU is just great. It has a pretty large quantum fuel tank, so you can equip some quick but less efficient QT drives to make trips shorter, and still have the range to get to and from the farthest locations in our solar system. It has plenty of room for whatever you want to put in it, from players to most land vehicles. It also has some amenities like beds, weapon racks, and a toilet, I think. Its turrets will get you into some great multi-crew gameplay. Its potential DPS with 4 size 4 gimbaled weapons and 2 size 2 on each turret is a ton of firepower. Oh, and it has 52 freaking missiles. Sorry. I hope I remember to normalize that in post to save your ears. Oh, and I almost forgot. You can get one for only $150. I would say some of its cons are, it's really, really slow. in every sense of the word: SCM, max speed, and yaw pitch. And honestly, those just kind of come with the territory of such a large ship. Speaking of its size, its overall size is massive and it makes it an easy target to hit. This is its biggest flaw. Most ships can outmaneuver it pretty easily. I wouldn't be surprised if it has a lot of shield holes because of its size too. And each of those engines have a weapon on them, so if there were to get shot off or knocked off, you would lose firepower and maneuverability. Alright, so SubliminaL, what do you think about the Constellation Andromeda? I think the Connie Andromeda has some major drawbacks with its size and speed, but the power that it brings to the battlefield cannot be ignored. I think right now it may seem fragile, but that's just because of its speed. But if you equip it right, you'll be a force to be reckoned with. And the best part of it is you can get it for stupid cheap as a loaner for the Taurus. Since the Taurus isn't even on the roadmap, you'll have this baby for the foreseeable future, and you get a great cargo ship when the Taurus actually releases. The Connie is great for almost every type of mission in Star Citizen and has room to bring everyone along. You may want to look at this ship if you're considering a freelancer max. You'll lose some cargo space but gain a gunboat, and a turret that doesn't block the Ursa rover from being stored in the cargo bay. If you are considering buying the Connie Andromeda, it comes highly recommended by me for as long as you don't spend any more than that $150. Those are my thoughts. Let me hear yours down in the comments. Don't forget to vote on the next ship. Head over to Twitter and vote right now. I'm so sorry the Mantis is actually winning the poll right now for this review. However, I needed to start it quickly and at the time the Andromeda was in the lead. However, I will be adding the Mantis to my short list now. It'll probably be good to compare after I review the Cuddy Blue. New citizens, please remember to use the referral code on screen and in the description. It helps out the channel and gets you 5,000 off for UEC. If you've enjoyed this review, check out more of my content. If you'd like, there are 6 ways to support the channel. Number 1, you can smash that like button. Number 2, you can share this content with someone who may enjoy it. Number 3, you can check out my locations of Stanton collection over on Displate. Number 4, you can subscribe and turn on notifications by clicking the circle here. Number 5, you can become a channel member by clicking the join button below. And number 6, if you're feeling generous, consider becoming a patron. Some of the pledge perks can be seen here, including desktop versions of my locations of Stanton collection available to all patrons. If not, your viewership is greatly appreciated. Until next time, citizens, I'll see you in the verse.